today's headlines. Sara drops Davao bid, presidency hanging. Senators for halt fuel price hikes. Decreased crime incidents during pandemic. Employers may require COVID-19 vaccination among job seekers. Pfizer requests U.S. emergency authorization for COVID booster for adults. Over 100 native birds rescued. Anyo will decide fate of face shields. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is November 10, 2021, and these are the latest news this Wednesday morning. A day of twists, withdrawals, and emotional speeches still left hanging questions on Tuesday as Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio withdrew her re-election bid but made no announcement of her plans amid various pushes for her to seek the presidency on May 9, 2022. Duterte Carpio's mid-afternoon pullout of her certificate of candidacy for a third term as Davao City leader before the local office of the Commission on Elections was unexpected, although her supporters have long rolled out various campaigns for her presidential run. A plan to hold a nationwide motorcade event on November 14 was their last-ditch show of a big clamor that they hoped would make Duterte Carpio change her mind and substitute for PDP Laban standard-bearer Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who had also offered his slot to President Rodrigo Duterte's daughter. Substitution of candidates will be allowed until 15th of November, and Duterte Carpio is not a PDP Laban member. Taking Duterte Carpio's place as candidate for Davao City Mayor is her brother, incumbent Vice Mayor Sebastian Duterte, and lawyer Melchor Kitain is filing his slot as a vice mayoralty candidate. Two senators on Tuesday filed separate bills calling for congressional intervention to reduce the domestic prices of petroleum products. In filing Senate Bill 2445, Senator Grace Poe urged for the automatic suspension of the excise taxes on petroleum products, noting that doing so will immediately bring down the cost of gasoline by 10 pesos per liter and 6 pesos per liter for diesel. Her proposed measure also seeks to amend Section 148 of the National Internal Revenue Code by allowing the suspension of excise taxes on regular gasoline, unleaded premium gasoline, and diesel. Senate President pro tempore Ralph Recto, for his part, filed Senate Bill 2440, which seeks to lower the costs of petroleum products by cutting its excise tax by half and reducing electricity prices by exempting the system dues charge in the sale of electricity from the value-added tax for 3 years. He said that while the government cannot control the factors affecting the global prices of oil and coal, it can help mitigate its adverse effects on domestic prices. The marathon oil price hike, along with the reduced passenger demand, prompted transport groups to ask the government for a fair hike, a move that Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade rejected. In October, the DBCC said it will distribute 1 billion pesos worth of cash assistance to 178,000 bona fide PUV drivers for the remaining months of the year. The number of crime incidents during the pandemic has significantly decreased during the pandemic, according to the Philippine National Police spokesperson, Police Colonel Roderick Alba. From the data of PNP's Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management, or DIDM, there is a huge difference of crime incidents from the periods March 2018 to October 2019 and March 2020 to October 2021.
Almost 2 years din na the same period ng previous years. So sa ating ngayon, sa report ng DIDM, nag-record po yung PNP noong March 2018 to October 2019 ng 856,916 crime incidents. Almost 2 years din na
However, amid the loosening of restrictions after the de-escalation of the National Capital Region to Alert Level 2, worries regarding increased criminal incidents are going around, but Alba ensures that they are following the directives of the PNP Chief Police General Guillermo Eleazar and the NCRPO to deploy more personnel, especially in areas of convergence. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Christmas saya, pagsama-sama. Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelevelo, Comfy Manalo, Atty. Lia Badillo Crisostomo, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas ng mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Simulan natin ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments ng aming programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube. Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings, mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Christmas saya, pagsama-sama.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. President Rodrigo Duterte said he supports the right of employers to turn down job applicants unvaccinated against COVID-19, but added those who are currently employed should not be fired even if they have yet to receive the shots. Duterte made the remark Tuesday evening, November 9, amid discussions on proposals to incentivize the individuals who have yet to be inoculated against the virus despite the country's steady vaccine supply. Duterte, however, stressed that employers cannot terminate their workers who refuse to get vaccinated since it is illegal. The president said labor lawyers would all agree that proposed mandatory vaccination among private sector employees goes against the law. But he urged the public to get vaccinated against COVID-19 as the government seeks to boost the state's inoculation efforts. The president added the government would hold a 3-day nationwide vaccine drive from November 29 to December 1 to encourage more people to receive anti-coronavirus jabs. Anti-coronavirus vaccination remains optional in the country, though there are proposals to make it mandatory amid the ongoing pandemic. Drug makers Pfizer and BioNTech announced Tuesday that they have formally submitted a request asking U.S. officials for emergency authorization of their COVID-19 booster vaccine for people aged 18 and older. The move follows research published by the companies in late October, indicating a third shot is 95.6% effective against symptomatic infection based on clinical trials carried out on 10,000 people. The companies asked the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to add the new population segment, amending emergency use authorization already granted in September for a third dose for everyone aged 65 and up, as well as people at high risk of developing severe COVID-19. Pfizer's initial proposal for approval of boosters to everyone aged 16 and over, which was backed by President Joe Biden's administration, was rejected at that time. Several countries have already approved COVID-19 booster shots to increase immunity in people who have already been vaccinated, but those protection may be dipped after several months, per some studies. The European Medicines Agency approved a booster for over 18s at the beginning of October, allowing national regulators to decide which groups should be eligible first. Around 189 native birds allegedly caught in Candaba, Pampanga were rescued by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Community Environment and Natural Resources Office at a local market in Baliwag, Bulacan. DNR Central Luzon Executive Director Paquito Moreno revealed that agency personnel spotted a man selling 129 common moorhen or uwis and 60 buff barred rail or tikling at the Pagala local market. The suspect immediately ran away upon seeing the environment authorities, and the team found out that these birds are being sold in the market for only 100 pesos each or for every 3-piece bundle, Moreno said. Moreno stressed that collecting, hunting, possessing, and trading of wildlife, including their byproducts and derivatives, are prohibited under the Republic Act 9147 or the Wildlife Resources Conservation and Protection Act of 2001. The official urged the public to report any illegal wildlife trading and online selling, adding that such acts would create dire imbalance in the ecosystem. Please report immediately any illegal wildlife activities to authorities or nearest DNR office in their area or text or call hotline number 0945-368-5303, Moreno said. The DNR-CNRO and Philippine National Police in Baliwag is currently conducting follow-up operations to identify and locate the alleged hunters and illegal wildlife traders, while the 189 birds have been immediately released back in a rice field area near the boundary between Baliwag and Candaba towns. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Chris masaya, pagsama-sama.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. And in other news, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara opted to toss to Interior Secretary Eduardo Año the decision whether to lift the use of face shields following the downshift to Alert Level 2 in Metro Manila and some other parts of the country. On Monday, Chairperson Benher Abalos said the members of the Metro Mayor's Council, the governing body of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, agreed to recommend to the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases the scrapping of mandatory use of face shields in the National Capital Region. Abalos said that the use of face shields will no longer be required except for critical places once approved by the government's pandemic task force. Critical areas, according to Abalos, are the hospitals, barangay health centers, and public transportation. Guevara said there is an existing IATF resolution requiring the use of face shields under such guidelines as the Department of Health may issue. The DOH has required that face shields be worn only in 3Cs areas or closed, crowded, and close contact. Until that resolution is revoked by the IATF, by the DOH, or by the President, the requirement to wear face shields in 3Cs areas stands, Guevara said. Año, though, told reporters that mayors can lift the mandatory use of face shields in public places even without seeking approval from the IATF, the government's pandemic policy-making body. The Interior Secretary said the mayors can impose their policies as long as they are reasonable, adding the IATF guidelines can catch up with such policies later on. But in a palace press briefing, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque announced that executive orders had been issued declaring null and void the lifting of the face shield requirement in Manila and in Davao City. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Mary Kay, Araneta Center, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista on Tribune News on Q, reminding you that we only have 45 days until Christmas.
Botomoto Halalan 2022, the Daily Tribune special coverage.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home, everybody. Good morning.
Christmas saya, pagsama-sama.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its vibrant community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.